The government has declared him essential. Sebastian Gorka.
What kind of man writes a book and comes on a national radio show, live streaming on YouTube, and doesn't bring a copy of the book with him? A man who doesn't have an ego that's larger than his IQ. He's a true American patriot. We love Horace Cooper. But the book is out. And we're going to dedicate a whole hour to that incredible book. Is it your first book, Horace?
It's my first book.
His first book. We're going to have him back in studio. But get it now. You can order it. It's from some piddly little publisher called Simon & Schuster. How Trump is Making Black America Great Again. Order it right now. I'm going to wait for my signed copy, but you can get it right now. He is Senior Fellow at the National Center for Public Policy and with Project 21. Follow them at Project 21 News. Horace, can't wait to read the book. We will save that. We've teased enough. Let's get back to the issues of the day, the insanity. 20 black Americans killed, murdered in the name of peace and justice since George Floyd was killed as well. Doesn't seem to be going in the right direction. Instagram has just announced there's the mute white people function. You can now mute white people on Instagram. Not sure what would happen if somebody said we're going to have a mute Asian or mute black people option on Instagram or any social media platform. But I want to go back to something you said previously with regards to the mob, the deletion of history, the rewriting of history, which really is something we've seen in dictatorships, whether
Absolutely.
It's Nazis or socialists. One of the things they understand is if you control history, you can control the future. Why is it so important? Let's take politics out of this equation. Why is it, in principle, always inadvisable to kneel to any mob?
Well, a couple things. First, I want to tell your audience it's a good time this summer to pick up George Orwell's 1984. You'll get a good reminder of what happens when government, so desperate to maintain control and power, uses its ability to influence media and your ideas, even your very memories, as a mechanism for controlling us. We never, ever in a republic should let the mob rule. Our whole system is predicated on, we decided we're going to trade one single executive, one unitary leader, and we said, but we're not going to substitute a crowd. We're going to disperse power. We're going to make sure that what we have is a democratic republic. We do have elections, but we have a representative system. One of my big complaints about the COVID-19 response has been the failure of our leaders. I'm not talking about at the congressional level. I'm a little bit troubled by the whole proxy voting idea, which I think runs afoul of what our founders intended.
You mean what Nancy Pelosi was saying, that somebody can vote instead of you?
Someone can vote instead of you. Right. You don't have to show up. Right. You don't have to appear. That's actually the opposite of what our founders intended. But I'm actually talking about states like California, New York, and others where we've dispensed with the idea of the legislature responding. I'm told that the mask is essential. I'm told that closing down barbershops and other places are essential. If that's true, if it is, then you should be able to call a special session of the legislature and in about 48 to 72 hours, get them to pass laws that the governor can then sign. Because everyone agrees. Everyone understands it's unassailable. Here's the truth. Were they to do that, it likely wouldn't pass. So Americans as individuals, when they speak up and they complain, our friends in the media attack them, they criticize them, and yet they don't answer the question, why haven't these such unassailable ideas been presented to the legislature and given the power and force of legitimate law?
How about you're making a very solid point about our structures, what was created in the United States by the founding fathers, the responsibility of local legislatures, not Washington, D.C., because let's remember the founding fathers wanted D.C. to basically be an irrelevance.
Yes.
National security, foreign policy, and interstate trade. That's about it. But what about this question? The founders of Black Lives Matter have admitted, we have the video, they have said, we are trained Marxists. You look at their webpage that states one of our goals is to undermine the traditional nuclear family, which is the last thing Black America needs after the last 60 years.
Absolutely.
In principle, should we even be negotiating with people who say they're Marxists?
We shouldn't. And absolutely, even if they hadn't come out and admitted their associations, their principles would belie the truth about who they are and what they stand for. I've opposed this organization for some time. I always say Black Lives Matter. What they say about America is very, very consequential. It's false, it's damning, but it's very, very consequential. And we're now watching. Apparently, Washington, now I was born and raised in Texas, and so we don't really say friendly things about the football team that's based here in, actually, I think it's in Maryland now, but we don't say really good things about it. But apparently, they're being told they have to erase their name. BLM hasn't just poisoned the conversation with their lies about what they claim are disproportionate mistreatment of Black Americans by law enforcement. Their lie has imbued so much of corporate America, so much of the rest of American society and the mainstream of society. Thankfully, the Texas Rangers are rejecting this idea that they should be indicted by this kind of nonsense.
Yes, but the Washington Post is going after them as well, the Texas Rangers. Good luck with that, I say to them. Bring it, because I know who's going to win that one. He is Senior Fellow with the National Center for Public Policy. Follow him and his colleagues at Project 21 News on Twitter. But most importantly, right now, in the break, go and order How Trump is Making Black America Great Again. He is Horace Cooper. Thank you for coming in studio. Next up, we will discuss your book at greater length. This is America First on the Salem Radio Network.